Hello, my name is Chris Webb. I'm the Grace Ministry pastor, and I'm so glad that you're taking some time to find out about Grace Ministry and interested in serving. And so this is a series of videos to kind of give you some background, some training, and get you prepared to be a part of this wonderful ministry. So this first little video clip is to give you a little background and maybe a biblical basis for what we're doing and why we're doing it. And so I want to read a Bible verse to you out of John. Actually, it's a few verses. John 9:1-3 says, "As he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth. And his disciples asked him, 'Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?' Jesus answered, 'It was not that this man sinned or his parents, but that the works of God might be displayed in him.'" Back then, they thought, well, if there's a child with a special need or something, a disability, then God wasn't pleased with them, and that maybe their parents sinned, and so God punished them. But that is not at all what Jesus said. You don't understand that everybody's really made special and unique, and that each situation, though seemingly difficult, that He has a desire, He has a plan, He has a way to kind of make that situation be one that would glorify Him and that would be a witness to the world. And so, with our families, it's good to know that each family that walks in that has a child with special need, that God cares about and loves and has a plan for each of them. And we get to be a part of that in Grace Ministry. Another verse that comes to mind is Luke 14:12-14. He said also to the man who had invited him. And so he was invited to this feast, and there was lots of people who wanted to be there, and he invited all the top folks of the community. And so he said to this guy, "Hey, when you give a dinner or banquet, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or your rich neighbors, lest they also invite you in return, and you be repaid. But when you give a feast, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed, because they cannot repay you. For you will be repaid in the resurrection of the just." And so what we see here that people call, we're called to love everybody, but especially those that may be kind of on the kind of set aside by society as not being important and may not have the means to kind of pay you back. So when we invite somebody, we do something for somebody that can do something for us back. Hey, what good is that? Jesus says. Instead, serve those, love those that cannot repay you, and then you will get rewards in heaven for doing that. So as we think about that, I think Grace Ministry is all about that. It's about reaching out, it's ministering to these folks, and in reality, they may not have monetary things as you work with folks in our ministry necessarily give back to you, but I hate to say, but you really do get a lot back, man. A lot of times you can't outgive God, and so when you're serving, you get back more than you give, especially with these wonderful children and adults that you'll be working with. And we really believe that each person is fearfully and wonderfully made, and that God has a plan, and that we in Grace Ministry gets to be a part of that. So a couple things. When we think about the purpose of our ministry, really it's about the gospel. And that in Mark, he records Jesus as talking about the gospel. He says, "And he said to them, 'Go into the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole creation.'" That's everybody. Whether they have a special need or not, we're supposed to reach everyone, and that's part of what we're doing. So kind of ultimately our purpose, our mission is to serve Jesus Christ by fostering the spiritual growth of people with special needs and their families. We want to work with them and provide, each one of them the opportunity to be fully engaged and involved in our church in all kind of ways, both their family and their kids. No matter what who or what's in their family, we want them to be involved in that. So part of that is really helping them grow in their faith at their level, whatever that is. We want to do that. You think about, Jesus said, our faith should be like a child, and many times we working with these children or these adults, and they'll have a childlike air about them, but they can have a childlike faith that Jesus talks about. And so we want to integrate everybody in our special needs that has special needs into our church. We want to welcome and embrace these families, give them support, and we want to provide opportunities for them to fellowship and to serve. We've been doing that. At last Fun Fest, Grace Ministry had a booth, and it was staffed by folks who were part of our ministry, who came to our ministry, those that would have some special needs. And so that was really exciting in that. So our purpose, our goal is to do that. And so this first video is just to let you know kind of what our purpose, what our goals are, and I hope that you'll continue to watch these series of videos, and I look forward to your involvement. Hope you'll pray for us, and I hope you'll get involved and serve with us in Grace Ministry.